So, hi everybody. I am happy that you're here. Can you all hear me? Please thumbs up. That's good. That's always good. So, I'll be talking about why taking care of your people is mandatory now. Of course, you need to be taking care of your people. I'm waiting for my presentation. Okay. So glad it is not my fault. Oh, here we go. So, in case you're wondering, you're here because I'm going to be talking about why it's good practice to take good care of your people. And we should all know this, right? But there's a lot of things happening and coming why it's also becoming a mandatory thing. So I'll take you through my presentation, and obviously, if you have any questions or want to talk with me, I'll stick around for a little bit, and we can interact. So, my name is Wendy Broersen, and I'm an international inclusion expert. I am also the CEO and founder of Super People Company, and we work for all kinds of brands. This is only a small selection, but yeah, we help these organizations to become more inclusive, to more diverse, and to make sure that the diversity that they're bringing in the company wants to stay. And that's a big thing. So we're going to be talking about happy people reasons. And we're going to be talking, and I promise you it won't be boring and dreary. We're going to be talking about a couple of laws and legislation reasons. So the only way to grow your company is to retain. We all know the scarcity of the people in this job market, and the only way to stay ahead of the game is either to overtake another company or make sure that your people are going to stay. And overtaking another company, by the way, is not always the best way to retain the people of that other company, because cultures clash and then people leave. But happy people, happy employees don't go. It's as simple as that. So I know that happiness is usually an HR responsibility, and that's not the case. You all create the culture within your organization, and so you are responsible for making people happy. And why? Well, just because 3 times more likely to be happy at work if you have an inclusive culture. And with inclusion, I mean a culture where everybody feels respected, seen, have equal chances. That's actually, the last one is actually #1 reason to go. Not money, but feeling that you're not appreciated and that you're not valued for the work you bring in. You must relate to that. I did. Everybody does. It's also nice to have a great work-life balance. And if you have an inclusive company, the odds of that go up more than twice. There's also the comparison between non-inclusive and inclusive organizations about safety, about appreciation. I'm not going to go about all these notes, but I know the slides will be available to you. But I think these figures speak for themselves. So another reason why you want to be an inclusive company is that you're going to attract more applicants. 40% of the companies that take a hit on the job market, which basically means they can't find people or not enough, is because they're not inclusive. A lot of people think that young generation is looking for inclusive company. That used to be the case, but now it even goes up to my age, and I'm turning 54. So inclusion becomes a big reason why you want to apply for that organization, or not. And to top it off, inclusion has become mandatory. It has shifted from nice to have to a must-have. If the reasons that I just stated are not enough for you, I'm going to hit you with a couple of rules and regulations. And also a target audience that you may not have thought about, but how about if you are a startup or a scale-up or just a company that needs more money and you're looking for investors? Well, here's a reason. My company has been approached for the last couple of years more and more by investment companies. And why do they do that? Because it's been proven that inclusive companies do way better. They do better on attracting people, which you need to grow. They do better in retaining people. They do better in developing products and services that are catered to a large audience and not excluding people. So they prefer investing in diverse and inclusive companies. These companies have been known, and research has shown that McKinsey, Gartner, and all kinds of other research companies, for years and years, they researched this, and they came to the conclusion that in inclusive teams, they make better decisions. They are more innovative, and especially in this branch, that would be a big pro. They attract more employees. When there's stress, there's actually less stress because an inclusive team picks up where somebody maybe out of whatever reason is too stressed, and then they figure it out. Also, inclusive teams are more flexible, especially when they're diverse, because diversity means that you have to constantly adapt to the person in front of you, and that makes you agile and flexible. So diverse teams actually do better on that as well. And especially in this branch, again, flexibility, especially because the market changes, the world changes so fast, you need teams that are flexible. And they're more productive, and they're happier employees. So in short, you all maybe you know the term, but ROI, or return on investment, is way better. That's why big companies like that pay my company a lot of money to make sure that the organizations or companies that they're investing in are becoming more diverse and more inclusive. Oh, FYI, scale-ups and startups are not per se more diverse. You would think so, but it usually is a little group of sort of the same people that start a company, and then they look in their network, and then the same people are in their network, and they attract that too. And before you know it, you have 45, 50, 60 people that sort of look the same and sort of are the same. I see somebody laughing here. Yeah, okay. Yeah, well. And by the way, having an international crew doesn't mean you're diverse. It just means that you're from another country. Okay, here's number 2. From nice to have to must have, gender quota. In case you're wondering, it's mandatory in these countries: the Netherlands, Germany, France, Italy, Belgium, Austria. And then there's a soft push. Well, if you're in a tender, you can count on it that they're going to look at it in the other countries that are listed below. I hated quota before. I love them now. And for the simple reason that they work. Unfortunately, not everybody is intrinsically motivated to work on diversity and inclusion, and this just works. By the way, for all that are interested, tomorrow morning there's Women in Tech breakfast. Yes, there are going to be a lot of women. No, it's not just for women. So if you're interested in diversity and inclusion, it's for free, so you can attend. It's going to be at 7 o'clock tomorrow morning. Well, it's breakfast. Sorry for the early time. And this is actually a big one. Just make sure that I'm on time. Oh, I'm talking too fast. So this is a big one. It's called CSRD. I'm really happy about it because it made my profession more professional. Because as soon as the finance department comes knocking at your door to ask you for your plans, your budget, your numbers, you know that you'll be taken seriously. And there's a lot of diversity and inclusion data mandatory that you have to report on. The long version of CSRD is Corporate Sustainability Reporting Directive. I didn't make it up. It's a horrible name, but in short, it means that you have to take care of your people and you have to report on it in your annual report. It's mandatory to do that now, and it's quite extensive. The last 6 months, we've been diving into all that's mandatory about this topic. And this is also something that you can bring to your employer if you're not an employer, to help them realize that you really have to do something about this because it's going to be in your annual report and accountants are going to audit you on it. And if you don't make progress, they're going to ask you why. Because you also have to put your plans in there and your estimate improvement on something. Just reporting that it's shitty doesn't go anymore, doesn't count anymore. You're going to really have to make improvements and report on them. And the next year, they're going to ask you, so what happened? And it's all going to be in that annual report. The great thing about this is also that accountants have to sign off on it. Auditors have to sign an annual report. If you have an annual report that isn't signed, you get in all kinds of trouble as a company. So in the annual report, when it's not signed, you don't get a loan anymore. You don't get bank credit anymore. You don't get insurance anymore. And of course, investors are going to walk. So one extra special thing about this is for all the independent people in this room, and I'm assuming there's going to be a lot of you, you also have to report on your flexible workforce, on your interim people. And that's actually a novelty, because for now, I try to bring that to the attention of my customers, but they usually do not comply. In this case, they have to. Granted, it's a little bit, I would say, it's about age, and it's about gender, and it's about disability. So multicultural or migration background is not in there yet, but we expect it to be either next year or the year after to be in there as well. So you'll think, okay, this sounds really great. I have a reason for my employer to work on diversity and inclusion. Sounds really good, right? So I'm going to take you through the rules and regulations of the CSRD, not through the 320 pages. I will spare you that. But if your organization is listed on the stock exchange, they actually have to do that by the end of the year. They have to report on it. Oh yeah, and if the mother company is not in the EU, because this is EU legislation, they don't get off easily. Because if they make 50 million euros, 50 million euros of revenue in Europe, they have to comply by this rule as well. So that's good news. 2025, you still have time to make things right so you can properly measure and report on things. If you check 2 out of these 3 points, you have to do it as well. So if you're over 250 employees, if you're making 50 million or more, or if you have 50 million in assets, And that's not just buildings. So if you have property, like intellectual property that's worth a lot of money, that counts too. And last but not least, if you have big customers that are on the stock exchange, they ask this of their supply chain as well. They're already doing it, but it will be more of a mandatory thing because they have to report on social impact as well, and that's also in the CSRD, and therefore the whole supply chain is coming with them as well. So that sounds interesting. So I would love to see a show of hands of if you work for an organization that has to comply by the CSRDs. Just a hand would be enough. Look around you, that's a lot of people. That's really a lot of people. And keep in mind, if you want to attract investors, or if you want to attract large customers, you better damn well do something about this as well. I'm always short in time, so I'm checking every once in a while. So there's another law coming, equal pay. And believe it or not, it's not just about the women, because there's branches where there's actually a lot of women and not only a few men, like education, healthcare, and equal pay is going to be implemented on that as well. It's part of the CSRDs, but the legislation in the EU it goes even further than that. If you're not working on this yet, you better do it because it will be official by the 1st of next year, which is only, what is it, 8 months away? 10, no, 8, actually. So equal pay is also interesting for people with a multicultural background, or people of color, people with a disability, or even people that were born in the country of your organization, but have like a strange name. Unfortunately, if you're one of those people, you will probably get less pay. And it's not fair, it shouldn't be, and it's actually happening all over the world. To give you an example, white men in the United States earn $1. Asian women in the United States earn, I think, 92 cents or 94 cents. If you're a white woman in the United States, you will earn 87 cents. If you are a black woman in the United States, you will earn around 79, 81 cents to the dollar. And if you're Latina, you're really screwed because you're going to get not even 80 cents, you'll get around 70 cents to the dollar. Recent research in the Netherlands has shown that this is the case as well. For national citizens, people that have been living here all their lives, and their parents maybe migrated here, or their great-parents or their great-great-parents migrated here, and still they earn less money than the white people. So, one of the reasons why I'm happy about this law as well, because it should be equal, right? It's ridiculous that somebody that does the same job as you has the same, puts in the same effort, goes to courses and all that, is roughly the same age as you and makes 20% more. It's ridiculous. In the Netherlands, we have halfway November, there's with the new data in mind, they say that you work from now on for free. So the rest of that year, you work for free. That is what this is doing. And also, your next paycheck, your next salary is going to be based on what you're earning now. So the effect of it multiplies. And it actually starts with side jobs already. There's two reasons. One, most women don't ask enough from a we culture. Here in the Netherlands, we have an I culture. And in a we culture, family is like one of the most important things. As soon as you are from a we culture, it's been proven that you have the team, the company, your extended family, let me put it that way, in mind. And that's also the reason why you don't ask for more money. So interesting to know, and something to keep in mind. If you are a manager, maybe you should look at the people that are working for you and make sure that you divide everything equally. You're laughing? Oh, okay. I'm like, what? To me, it sounds a bit grim. So okay, then it's good. And to top it off, more legislation is coming. So this is why you have to mandatory take care of your people to make them happy. And if that's not enough yet, if you're still not convinced, I have one more slide. And yes, make pictures of it, because it's also daunting. Inclusive and diverse organizations are 3.6 times more likely to innovate effectively. Not just innovate, but effectively. Like going to the market as soon as possible and earn some money. 6.6 times more likely to adapt well to change. I talked about diverse teams, and this is what diverse teams can do like no other homogenic team can. 8.5 times more likely to inspire a sense of belonging. Employees that are engaged, that are feeling like part of the family, those employees won't be going. It's not just money that attracts you to go to another company. It's a feeling of respect, belonging. It also brings down the sick rate a day per person if you are an inclusive organization. Think about the money. If there's no reason whatsoever that you feel compelled to do something about inclusion, this is a good one. 8.5 times more likely to satisfy and retain customers. Yes, you do have customers, even if you're not a B2C company. If you're B2B, those are people too, and they like to be treated with respect and with resilience and with all that comes with a diverse and inclusive team. And the last one, staggering, 12 times more likely to engage and retain employees. That brings me back to the beginning of my talk. This is why you have to take care of your employees. Mandatory. I have to go to the Devworld TV thing, but afterwards I'll have a book signing because I wrote a book about it, and it's not by accident, and that's called Not for HR, because it shouldn't be a task of not HR, it should be a task of all of you. And if you want to reach out to me, this is my LinkedIn QR code. I share tons of information and tips about how to get this. Reach out to me. I'm very approachable. I will always answer my messages personally. And we'll have a reach out to me. Thank you so much.